Good evening, Eagles fans, and welcome to another electrifying edition of your Philadelphia Eagles news, right here from the heart of the city of brotherly love. Folks, have you ever wondered what it takes to keep a team like the Eagles soaring high in the ultra-competitive NFC East? Well, buckle up, because today we've got a blockbuster trade to unpack that's got the entire fanbase buzzing, from the tailgates at Lincoln Financial Field to the sports bars on South Street. The Eagles just made a bold move to bolster their secondary, and it's a deal that could reshape their defense as they chase that elusive second Super Bowl title. Let's dive right in. The big news breaking today: the Philadelphia Eagles have pulled off a trade with the New York Jets, acquiring versatile cornerback Michael Carter II and a 2027 7th-round draft pick in exchange for wide receiver John Metchie III and a 2027 6th-round pick. Now, this isn't just any roster tweak. It's a strategic chess move by General Manager Howie Roseman, the mastermind who's been wheeling and dealing to keep Philly's defense among the NFL's elite. So, what does this mean for the Birds? Why make this move now? And how does it fit into the Eagles' grand plan as they navigate a grueling 2025 season? Let's break it all down. First, let's talk about Michael Carter II, the newest Eagle to don the midnight green. This 5'10", 183-pound dynamo out of Duke was a fifth-round steal for the Jets back in 2021, when none other than current Eagles senior personnel director Joe Douglas was running the show in New York. Talk about a full-circle moment. Carter's made a name for himself as one of the NFL's premier slot cornerbacks, earning a 3-year, $30.75 million extension in 2024, making him the highest-paid slot corner in the league at the time. That's no small feat for a guy who's played 85% of his snaps in the slot, racking up 2 interceptions, 26 pass breakups, 10 tackles for loss, and 3 fumble recoveries across 65 career games. This guy's a ball hawk, folks, with the kind of quick-twitch instincts that make quarterbacks think twice before throwing into tight windows. But here's the catch: Carter's had his share of bumps and bruises. In 2024, a back injury sidelined him for 4 games, and this season, a concussion cost him 3 more. Last Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals, he was back in action but only logged 6 defensive snaps, overshadowed by Jets youngster Jarvis Brownlee Jr. in the slot. So, why did the Eagles pull the trigger? Simple: versatility and options. Carter's not just a one-trick pony. He's got the skill set to play multiple roles in defensive coordinator Vic Fangio's scheme, much like former Eagles fan favorite Avonte Maddox, who could slide from slot corner to safety to outside corner in a pinch. Carter's contract, which runs through 2027 with just $2.7 million guaranteed, gives Philly flexibility, especially since he reportedly waived $5 million in injury guarantees for 2026 to make this deal happen. That's a team player move right there. Now, let's zoom out and look at the Eagles secondary, which has been a tale of 2 sides this season. On one hand, you've got the dynamic duo of second-year studs Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, 2 cornerbacks who've got Eagles fans chanting "Fly Eagles Fly" louder than ever. Mitchell's been a lockdown force on the outside, living up to his first-round billing, while DeJean, oh man, this kid might just be the best slot corner in the NFL, with the ability to slide outside in base defenses like it's no big deal. But here's where things get dicey. Opposite Mitchell in nickel packages, where the Eagles play 5 defensive backs, it's been a bit of a revolving door. Veteran Adoree Jackson and third-year man Kali Ringo have had their moments, but consistency? That's been harder to come by than a cheesesteak without onions in Philly. And don't forget Jacorian Bennett, who the Eagles picked up in a trade back in August. He's been out for the past 5 games with a pec injury, leaving the secondary stretched thin. Enter Michael Carter II, who could be the missing piece to this defensive puzzle. Eagles defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, known for his cerebral approach to scheming, was asked just yesterday about the possibility of moving DeJean outside full-time. His response: classic Fangio. He said, and I quote, "We considered it, but when you have one of the better players at a certain position, and it's an important position where you get involved more, you hate to take a really good player at one position to maybe not be as good or impactful at another position." Translation: DeJean's a superstar in the slot, and moving him outside could dilute his impact. But with Carter in the fold, Fangio's got options. He can mix and match based on the opponent's receivers, maybe keeping DeJean in the slot against teams with shifty slot guys like C.D. Lamb of the rival Cowboys, or sliding him outside against bigger boundary threats. Carter's presence gives Fangio the flexibility to get creative, and in a division as tough as the NFC East, that's worth its weight in gold. Let's talk about the other side of this trade: John Metchie III, the wide receiver headed to the Jets. Metchie, who came to Philly in a mid-August trade from the Houston Texans, never quite found his footing in an Eagles receiver room that's stacked with talent. We're talking A.J. Brown, who's been hauling in touchdown passes like they're going out of style, Devonta Smith, the Slim Reaper with hands smoother than a Pat's cheesesteak, and Jahan Dotson, who's carving out a role as a reliable third option. Metchie's stat line this season? Just 4 catches for 18 yards. Ouch. When undrafted rookie Darius Cooper returned from injured reserve last week and started taking snaps as a blocker in heavy personnel packages, it was clear Metchie's path to playing time was blocked like a punt at the link. Sending him to New York for Carter and a slight draft pick upgrade, swapping a 2027 6th for a 7th, is vintage Howie Roseman, maximizing value while addressing a need. Now, let's put this in historical context, because the Eagles' secondary has always been a cornerstone of their success. Think back to the glory days of Brian Dawkins, the heart and soul of this franchise, whose bone-rattling hits and fiery leadership defined an era. Or Troy Vincent and Bobby Taylor, who locked down receivers in the early 2000s when Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb were taking Philly to NFC championship games. Fast forward to 2017, when the Eagles secondary, led by the likes of Malcolm Jenkins and Rodney McLeod, played a pivotal role in that magical Super Bowl 52 run, culminating in Nick Foles outdueling Tom Brady. That's right, folks, the Eagles are the only team to bring a Lombardi trophy to Philly, and a stout secondary was a big reason why. This season, with a 5-2 record and a plus 45-point differential through 7 games, the Eagles are once again leaning on their defense to fuel their playoff push. Adding Carter could be the spark that keeps them ahead of the pack in a loaded NFC, where teams like the 49ers, Lions, and Bucks are lurking. So, what do the experts think? I caught up with fictional Eagles analyst Sarah, the Bird Whisperer Thompson, who's been covering the team since the days of Reggie White. This trade is Howie Roseman playing 4D chess, Sarah told me. Carter's not a household name yet, but he's a perfect fit for Fangio's system. He's got the quickness to cover slot receivers, the toughness to tackle in run support, and the smarts to read quarterbacks' eyes. Plus, his contract is team-friendly, which is classic Howie, always keeping an eye on the salary cap. On the flip side, some fans on X are skeptical, pointing to Carter's injury history. One user, at EaglesFan4Life, posted, "Love the move, but can Carter stay healthy? We need guys who can play 17 games." Fair point, but if Carter can earn Fangio's trust, and that's step 1, as the Eagles coaching staff emphasized, he could be a game changer. Let's crunch some numbers to see how this stacks up. The Eagles' defense ranks 6th in the NFL, allowing 309.4 yards per game, and their secondary has been stingy, giving up just 6.2 yards per pass attempt, good for 8th in the league. But in nickel situations, where they face 3 receiver sets, they've allowed a 68.3% completion rate to opposing quarterbacks, per Pro Football Focus. That's where Carter's experience in the slot could tighten things up. Compare that to the Jets, where Carter's 26 pass breakups since 2021 rank him among the top slot corners, despite his injury setbacks. If he can stay on the field, he's a clear upgrade over the inconsistency of Jackson and Ringo. What's the bigger picture here? This move signals that the Eagles are all in for 2025. With Jalen Hurts playing at an MVP level, 2,345 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, and a 67.1% completion rate through 7 games, and Saquon Barkley gashing defenses for 6.1 yards per carry, Philly's offense is firing on all cylinders. But in the NFC East, where the Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders are always ready to spoil the party, a championship-caliber defense is non-negotiable. The Eagles know their rivalry with Dallas is heating up. Remember last year's 33-13 thrashing at AT&T Stadium? And Carter's addition could be the edge they need to shut down CeeDee Lamb or Terry McLaurin in crunch time. Pop culture tie-in. Picture this: Carter stepping onto the field at the Link, with 69,000 fans belting out, "Fly Eagles Fly," like it's a scene from Rocky, the ultimate underdog story. Speaking of Rocky, Philly's got that same grit, that same heart, and this trade is another example of the Eagles fighting for every inch. Fun fact: did you know the "Fly Eagles Fly" fight song, originally written in 1958, was inspired by the team's first NFL championship in 1960? That's the kind of legacy Carter's stepping into, and you better believe the fans will let him know it. Looking ahead, what does this mean for the Eagles' playoff hopes? If Carter can stay healthy and gel with Fangio's system, this move could solidify Philly as a top seed in the NFC. Imagine a postseason run where Mitchell and DeJean are locking down the outside, Carter's patrolling the slot, and Darius Slay, still a ballhawk at 34, is mentoring the young guns. The road to the Super Bowl goes through Philly, and with games against the Rams, Ravens, and a pivotal Week 14 showdown with the Cowboys looming, every piece matters. My prediction: Carter logs at least one interception before the season's out, and the Eagles finish with 12 wins, good for the NFC East crown. Before we wrap, let's hear from a fictional Eagles fan, Tommy from South Philly, who I caught up with outside Pat Steaks. "Yo, this Carter kid, he's gonna be a dog, man," Tommy said, cheesesteak in hand. "We got Hurts, we got AJ, we got Saquon, and now we're stacking the secondary? Dallas ain't ready, bro." That's the kind of passion you'll find in Philly, where Eagles football isn't just a game, it's a way of life. Alright, Eagles fans, there you have it, the latest on the Michael Carter II trade and what it means for our birds. Will Carter be the key to shutting down NFC offenses? Can the Eagles keep soaring toward another Super Bowl? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments, follow us for more updates, and don't miss a single snap as Philly takes on the Washington Commanders this Sunday at 1 p.m. at the Link. Until then, keep those wings up, sing, fly Eagles fly, and let's keep this city rocking. This is your Eagles news anchor signing off. Go Birds!